Hello and welcome to Inside Tennessee Football's practice facility. I'm Ren Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We are with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network, and we just met with Tennessee football coach Josh Heupel for the final time before his Volunteers head to Tuscaloosa for the third Saturday in October and square off with Alabama. First things first, kind of the elephant in the room. How's Tennessee going to deal with the crowd noise?
Yeah.
They haven't done a good job under Josh Heupel operating, keeping themselves from shooting themselves in the foot. These pre-snap penalties, they killed them at Florida. They've hurt them in the past. Think back to South Carolina and Georgia last year, the only two losses of the season. That was an issue. While Heupel was asked about it, kind of, has there been a difference in how you've approached preparing for this? Most interesting thing he said about it was, they've worked on it every week. It's been a while since Tennessee hit the road. It'll be their first road game since Florida. Well, in the weeks leading up to this, it doesn't matter that they're heading over across the street to Neyland Stadium. They're still working on crowd noise, and they're still making sure that they're going to be prepared for the next time they get into a ruckus environment. So it'll be interesting to see how Tennessee deals with that. But Noah, what was your takeaway from what Heupel had to say?
Yeah, he got asked a lot of questions, kind of about the state of college football right now, specifically the SEC. Obviously, next year you bring in Texas and Oklahoma. That's caused a lot of, shifts in some of these rivalries. Tennessee right now, that third Saturday in October is safe. I know a lot of fans want to see that, and Josh Heupel, kind of reiterated that today as well. A rivalry that he would like to see continue. I think we're going on 120 plus years of this game being played, and you could argue historically that that's Alabama's biggest rival, and it's certainly Tennessee's biggest rival. So a game that he really touted today that he would like to see stay, the history of it, the tradition of it. I think it helps too that Tennessee's turned a corner in it. When you think of last year, obviously going into this year too with some positive feelings as well. So I think he's going to get a lot of questions like that. A lot of coaches in the SEC are over the next year or so before Texas and Oklahoma are in officially. But he's definitely backing that Tennessee-Alabama rivalry.
And that's something we talked about on our opponent preview over on the VolReport show. Alabama, if you had to pick one permanent rival, Alabama, it's going to be the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rid of that game with Auburn. For Tennessee, it's tough to get around playing that in-state matchup with Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Of course, I think a lot of Tennessee fans don't particularly care an extra amount for that game.
Yeah.
But it's an in-state game. It's going to be the one on the schedule. Well, next year when they do the one permanent rival and rotation everyone else, it's going to be Tennessee-Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
However, that Alabama game still is on the schedule. If they don't change that format, though, that next season in 2025, Tennessee-Alabama won't be there. So we'll see if they switch to that 6-3 format. If it is that 6-3 format, that game will 100% be one of those three. But it'll be interesting to see because it'll feel really, really weird if this isn't a game on the schedule. And it felt weird a few years ago in 2020 when it wasn't on that third Saturday in October. That felt weird enough as it is.
Right.
Imagine if it's not on the schedule at all. But for Tennessee, you mentioned they got back. They made it more of a rivalry again by winning last year. For them to win this year, they have a quarterback in Jalen Milroe they're going to have to stop. Someone that they prepared for last year a little bit. Willie Martinez talked about that on Tuesday, how they thought it was going to be Jalen Milroe last year because of Bryce Young's injury. Ultimately, it was Young, but now they have to prepare for Milroe again. The biggest thing with him is he's able to use his feet, whether it's escaping the pocket and tucking and running, or also just extending plays and making big throws down the field. That's been something that he's had success with and something Tennessee's going to have to deal with. The key phrase we've heard all week from Josh Heupel and how you stop him is gap integrity, though. They need to make sure they're filling these gaps on the defensive line, setting the edge, keeping contained. You can't sell out, you can't pinch, you have to make sure you're where you need to be, and that goes back to the linebackers as well. You need to make sure you're filling your gap and you're kind of setting your lane and not giving Milroe the opportunity to pick up 15, 20 yards on his legs and move the chains. And that's been something Tennessee's struggled with in the past. You think back to Anthony Richardson, think back to Bryce Young last year, you think back to Spencer Rattler last year. All three guys that maybe aren't as mobile as Jalen Milroe, but have the ability to kind of move the pocket and reset plays. Tennessee struggled with them. Well, this year, Spencer Rattler in Neyland Stadium, I think Tennessee did a pretty good job
6 sacks.
of limiting what he could do. So Tennessee's gonna have to do that again. It'll be interesting to see how they fare, but we'll find out in just a couple days in Tuscaloosa. We will be in attendance, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and head over to VolReport.com to keep up with everything there is to do with this big rivalry game. Links to everything you need is in the description, and thank you for watching.